Hi you folks, Simon here, welcome back to the channel, and today I have this to share with you. This is the Dell G5 15 gaming laptop from their performance range for 2020. Now this isn't a sponsored video. I purchased this laptop from the Dell website with my own hard-earned money, so I'm going to be sharing with you my honest opinions, having used this laptop now for about a week. And I do have a lot of good things to say about this laptop, but also a couple of niggles as well that I want to share with you. Now, I purchased this laptop for two reasons. First of all, of course, for gaming. It is a gaming laptop after all. But second of all, I wanted to be able to move a lot of my streaming setup. I do live streaming to Twitch. I wanted to be able to move a lot of that over to a second computer so that I could free up my main system's resources for other aspects of productivity whilst I'm live streaming. So the laptop is going to be used primarily for that purpose. And I'm also going to be getting an Elgato capture device. I already have an Elgato, but it's an internal one, so I can't use that on the laptop. I'm going to be getting an external one, and if you guys want to see me set that up on the laptop once it's arrived, then let me know down in the comments, and I can certainly make another video. However, I do suspect that most of you watching this video are probably more interested in the gaming side of things, so let's go ahead and briefly go over the specs of this laptop, and then I'll share my experiences of it with you. So this is the Intel version of the laptop. I do believe that the G5 is also available with an AMD spec, but that wasn't in stock anywhere I could see here in the UK when I placed my order. This is a 10th generation Intel CPU, the i7-10750h, and it's running alongside 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM at 2933 speed. Now, the graphics card here, of course, we get the integrated Intel graphics, but for gaming, you're going to want to be making use of the discrete Nvidia GeForce RTX 2060 graphics. And in terms of storage, we have a 512 gigabytes PCI Express NVMe drive with no additional drive such as an extra storage SSD or anything like that to go with it. And the price I paid for this was £1,199. Apparently that was reduced from £1,368.99. Now for me, and I'm sure for many of you guys as well, £1,200 does represent quite a large investment. It's a lot of money at the end of the day for a laptop. But let's not kid ourselves, in terms of high performance gaming machines, that is still part of the budget end of the scale. And it certainly is apparent that this laptop has been targeted towards those that are going to lean more on the side of performance than they are on prestige. For example, even the box, the packaging that Dell delivered this laptop to me in was the most boring, ordinary, brown cardboard box that I've ever seen for any piece of modern tech in recent times. But I'm absolutely fine with that. It got to me safely, it wasn't damaged, and that's what packaging is supposed to do. Also, the design, the aesthetic of the laptop is fairly typical for a standard laptop. You know, it does have a little bit of, I guess, kind of like sparkles to it, which, you know, is kind of subtle, but it's there. I like it. It's obviously not as flashy as I say, you know, some of the Alienware laptops that Dell are selling, but that's absolutely fine. I don't really care about that anyway. So if you're after a performance model that you're not going to be paying through the roof for, then this laptop is, in my opinion, a good laptop to look at. It does what I need it to do, and it does it well. This machine is certainly going to be able to handle pretty much any game you decide to throw at it throughout 2020, and you can put those games on their highest settings and you're still going to get a respectable frame rate. And as we go into the future, of course, and games begin to get a little bit more demanding, then we can just start to reduce those settings, and I would be surprised if we don't get a good few years out of this particular model. Now, the screen itself is a very nice display with 144 megahertz refresh rate and G-Sync capability, I believe, also. I mean, to be honest with you, maybe it's my age, maybe it's my eyes, I can't really detect any advancement of a refresh rate above, say, 80 to 90 megahertz. Maybe you guys can. If so, it is worth considering the fact that not every laptop in this price range, every gaming laptop, is going to have a display that goes that high in terms of its refresh rate. So that's a good point for the laptop for sure. However, despite that high refresh rate, this is still clearly a budget panel. Blacks are more dark grey, and when the screen does go dark, I do get quite notable light bleed coming from the top, which is worth pointing out. If that thing is something that's going to annoy you, then you may want to look at something that uses a higher quality screen. That said, the overall brightness is fine. Even, you know, with the curtains open, I can still see what's happening on the screen. I believe the brightness rating is given at 300 nits, though other YouTubers have tested this, and it comes out at about 270 to 275 in real-world settings. For general productivity outside of gaming, this laptop is blazingly fast. It comes with Windows 10 Home 64-bit edition, and when you turn the laptop on, Windows loads within seconds thanks to that high-speed NVMe drive. And there is a fingerprint sensor included in this model. You do have the option not to have that, but you will be paying the same. So it is a free edition if you choose to go for it. Just make sure if you want it that it is selected when going through your order page. Now, the fingerprint thing is something I thought was going to be a gimmick. Didn't even expect to use it, but I thought, hey, it's free, may as well have it on there. I was wrong, okay? I love this fingerprint sensor. It's fast. It actually works. It's not just a gimmick. It's got to the point now where when I come to another machine or another computer, it's a chore to put in my PIN number because I'm so used to using my laptop where I literally just tap my finger on this sensor at the window login screen, and within a second, you know, I'm ready to go. It is a fantastic little thing, and I do very much recommend it. Okay, right, let's talk about some of the negatives. First of all, the battery. Now, this isn't really a negative per se. It's a 68-watt battery that's been included, which is probably about the best you're going to get out of a budget gaming laptop, and it should give you a good hour and 15 minutes of just solid gaming from a full charge before it empties. One thing to note, though, is that because they've gone for a 68-watt battery rather than, say, a 50-watt battery, the battery size is substantially larger than it otherwise would have been, and it actually occupies the space where Dell could have included the 2.5-inch slot for an extra SSD. That means your storage upgrade options here are limited, and that's important because the NVMe drive that's included, while it's fast, is only 512 gigabytes, and for gaming, that's not going to take you a long way. You know, once you've installed 3 or 4 big games, you're pretty much going to be pushing the limit and are going to be looking to upgrade that. Now, the only way to upgrade this laptop storage is to take out that NVMe drive and replace it with a larger terabyte model. That's it. Like I say, there's no other slots. There's no SSD 2.5-inch drive bay. That's the only thing you can do. So if you're going to be filling that up quickly, then bear in mind that a 1 or 2 terabyte NVMe drive is going to be setting you back a couple of £100 at least. And that's just an added expenditure that you're possibly going to want to be thinking about very early on after already shelling out for the laptop itself. So yeah, just worth considering that storage upgrade is a bit of a nuisance here. I would have liked it if this laptop model came with at least a 1 terabyte drive, or at least the option to pay extra to upgrade the 512 to a 1 terabyte, but that wasn't a possibility. There is a 1 terabyte drive model, but that's the model that comes with the 2070 Nvidia graphics card, and that's about £400 to £500 extra, so pushing way out of the budget here. And the next point of concern was quite a scary thing, actually, and I am going to mention this so that you guys can be aware of it. On day 2, I think it was, so the next day after, you know, playing with the laptop, I received a notification on the laptop from the Dell Support Assist that I need to upgrade a bunch of drivers, including the BIOS firmware. So I let it do its thing. I had the laptop plugged in, it was on a full charge. It downloaded and installed these updates, and then when the laptop reset, it started to do the BIOS update automatically. Okay, I left it to it. It went through the BIOS update, apparently absolutely fine, and it came to the screen that said, the BIOS update has performed successfully. We are now going to reboot your Dell laptop. Brilliant. It reboots. The next thing, I'm having to cover my ears up, flipping air raid siren coming from the laptop, telling me that there's a huge hardware problem and that the NVMe drive cannot be detected before it even tries to boot into Windows. Scaring the heck out of me. I'm trying to turn the volume down. This thing's going woo, woo, woo. And I don't know what to do. So all I do is turn the laptop off, you know, with a hard power button push. It all shuts down. And it told me on that screen that I had to contact Dell support. But I thought, you know, great, this is not going to be good, having to try and RMA a laptop that's 1 day old because of a stupid firmware update that the Dell Support Assist told me I had to do. But I turned the laptop back on, and it didn't display that message. It booted into Windows absolutely fine, and it's been fine since, so I have no idea what that was about, but it has been working. What I would recommend is don't upgrade your firmware for your BIOS unless you are absolutely instructed to by a Dell support representative, or if there's various hardware issues you're facing that a firmware upgrade might solve. But if your laptop is running smoothly, as mine apparently was, there's really no point, in my opinion, in upgrading the firmware, since at best it's just going to do nothing. At worst, it could cause all manner of other issues. One other negative point as well, which I don't think is going to come as a huge surprise to many of you, and that is this laptop under heavy gaming sessions does get hot. Now, that's probably kind of normal for a gaming laptop. You're never going to have the same kind of airflow that you have with a gaming desktop PC. But it is worth considering, okay, you're probably not going to be wanting to do heavy gaming sessions unless you're in a nice ventilated, cool area if possible, to prevent shutdowns and the like. I will say this hasn't really caused any performance issues for me, although the top of the keyboard can get very, very warm to the touch. That said, overall, I am very impressed with this laptop. I'm loving it. I really like the way it plays games and it handles various productivity tasks that I throw at it. One thing that I am looking forward to do is testing out how I'm going to be able to include it in my streaming setup, as I mentioned at the start, with the Elgato device. So I'm happy to do an update on that in a week or so once I've got that set up and I've had some testing with it, if you guys want me to. But please do share your thoughts down in the video comments below as to what you think of this laptop, if you've purchased it, what your thoughts are, and if you have any recommendations for others as well. But thanks for stopping by and checking out today's episode. Please go ahead and support the channel by subscribing if you want to see more content like this in the future. But I've been your host, Simon, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.